Rob, can you pull up the tweets and the story of Bobby Kennedy about what he wants to do with Big Pharma? This is another one that's a top 10 on my list, guys. So New York Times story comes out. RF Kennedy Jr. wants to ban drug ads on TV. It wouldn't be easy. Let me get this straight. This guy wants to ban Big Pharma from advertising on TV. By the way, if this gets approved, it's the kiss of death for MSNBC, for NBC, for ABC, for any of those guys. Rob, if you go to the top of it, Rob, on that tweet, it shows how much money these guys spent advertising. If you remove there you go. In 2023, Big Pharma spent $15.58 billion on advertising. So think about how many people's salary is being funneled through Big Pharma to CNN to somebody, funneled through Big Pharma to MSNBC to somebody. Imagine how many people's salary is being purely funneled from Big Pharma to them, and a middleman is these media companies. What would happen if that $16 billion, give or take, is gone? Who loses money on that? What happens to a lot of these guys' salary? Does that automatically make a company like CNN go from being worth $1.5 billion to being worth $500 million? What happens all of a sudden if you don't have Big Pharma financing you anymore? Where do you get your money from? Where does it literally come from? If Bobby does something like this and this gets passed down, by the way, this is the kind of stuff that if you're pushing this, by the way, this was also my top 5 list. I talked about this with Vivek when I sat down with him a year and a half ago. I talked about it with this guy for the last 2 years. This was so important. If this goes through, Bobby Kennedy needs full-time security around him.
Yep.
If this goes through, you guys ever seen the movie Gladiator, where Russell Crowe is about to eat the soup and the other guy eats the soup, the big guy, to make sure they're not going after him? Somebody needs to eat everything that Bobby eats before Bobby eats it. Because Bobby officially has some of the biggest gangsters, lobbyists, that are going to be targeting him if he decides to go this direction. Tom, your thoughts. How likely is it that something like this can be passed under a Trump presidency and under a Bobby Kennedy running the HHS?
Well, I think the probability is low right now, but it's rising every minute. And we also, in what you're saying about CNN, MSNBC, they're so marginal right now. And by the way, it's also happening to Fox. Fox is admitting that cable news is going down. They didn't renew Neil Cavuto. He was offered a much lower contract, and yet he was kind of this more moderate voice. Guess what? The money's got to come from somewhere. So you're going to have marginal stations like MSNBC, which is for sale right now, but they can't find anybody to buy it. CNN has been for sale. They were walking around with cocktail napkins that had, NDAs to buy CNN at the Allen & Company conference. The last time they did that, they got together. And if you take this money out, there's also something else that happens. The valuation of sports franchises goes down because sports franchises are being lifted up by the value of TV contracts. TV contracts are being supported by $15, $16 billion per year of sports advertising. So never mind the economic part of it, but I think there's a 20% chance of success on this, but I think it's rising every single day because the rest of the world, it doesn't work this way. It doesn't work this way, the rest of the world. Europe, no advertising. Even Africa, no advertising. No advertising in Japan, Korea, Australia, Western nations. Now, New Zealand, little island off the coast of, Australia, they allow it and we allow it. But that's it. That is it. So this would not be an unprecedented move. This would bring the globe, into alignment on this. And I'll say it again, I think it's 20% and rising every day, but I agree, Bobby needs protection.
Vinny.
PBD, you said, poking the bear. I don't think it's poking the bear. I think he's walking into the cave with a torch yelling, "Who wants some?" I remember yesterday I mentioned the movie Michael Caine, which I know you saw, which you thought was, we thought was phenomenal, where Michael Caine is a fiction lawyer and he's going up against this huge pharmaceutical company. And these people have, if you think about it, we're talking about multi-billion dollar, almost I push hundreds of $1 billion, pushing on $1 trillion companies, you gotta be careful, man. This guy, look at the history of RFK. He's lost his uncle. You know what I mean? He lost his father because they were all voicing to help the American people. This is something that I think is extremely dangerous. I give him so much freaking credit because there's people that talk the talk. That this guy, with the history of murder and assassination in his family, he's still stepping up because this guy is a true, genuine believer. This guy cares about the freaking country. He cares about the people. I pray to God that he's protected, but you said it. He has to be extremely careful. And that's one of the reasons I believe, Vincent Oshana's opinion, that the Biden administration didn't want to give him Secret Service protection for all that time because they know who he is. They know he's a freaking threat. But now under the Trump administration, and I'm hoping to God, we still got some less than a month left, but that he's protected that. And like you said, food, random heart attack, accident in a car. We have to be very, very careful. But I think it's, when it's too big to rig in that sense, but in this situation, it'd be extremely obvious if something happens to this guy. But I pray for him every single day.
So it makes complete sense now why the mainstream media absolutely villainized this guy. And credit goes to who? Donald Trump for bringing him in and said, listen, I know you're a liberal and you got some crazy thoughts, but come on in, and completely embraced. It's very interesting. By the way, who is he the son of? Bobby Kennedy. Who is he a nephew of? JFK. PBD, do you remember that speech? We've talked about this, 1962, where JFK gave a speech about the physical fitness of young Americans. And he said there was nothing more unfortunate than to have soft, chubby, fat-looking children who go watch their school play basketball every Saturday in regard to this week's exercise, watching instead of doing. And we all know the situation. There it is right there. The situation where you have Bobby Kennedy banging out bench presses, talking about being healthy, eating healthy, getting some sun, working out, being active, being healthy. And then you juxtapose this with this fat, sloppy, overweight, disgusting creature, Dr. Peter Hotez, who said, yeah, maybe I should stop eating Doritos, but I'm on my 20th booster, allegedly. So the United States, 40% of the United States are obese, and 75% of American adults are overweight. It's time for disruption. In the HSS, let's get people healthy and off the sick care system and into an actual healthcare system. Let's get DOGE, government efficiency. Let's get on the ball. Let's get Kash Patel for accountability. America, get ready for some disruption, and that's exactly what we need.
Well, let me tell you
to
this.
1990.
Tom, you've already gone, haven't you? You guys want to go twice, guys? If we do this, we'll be going for 4 hours.
Hey, listen, when it comes to that Djibouti, I get it. Go ahead.
Did you want to say something? Go ahead, Tom.
I just said the 1993 movie, The Fugitive, go back and watch it. It's not so far-fetched, is it? Harrison Ford's wife gets killed, and it's a whole plot by Pharma, who covered up side effects of a drug and then killed a bunch of people. And by the end of the movie, to find out who killed his wife, Harrison Ford uncovers the whole plot. Not so crazy.
You killed my wife.
Okay, so Tom, did Tommy Lee Jones and the Fugitive people pay you sponsorship money? We don't know about it because I don't understand that part. For those of you that bought our gear, yesterday we wore the Future Looks Bright, what do you call it?
Christmas gear.
For everybody. It was sick. Rob, if you can go to vtmerch.com and go to the Future Looks Bright pajamas that we had on, it was absolutely awesome. We took a family picture together. And then these sweaters that say Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas. Our entire family was wearing this while we went to Disney World, while we went to, Universal. And we'll give you a little bit of insight in those two as well. But the pajamas, the Christmas gear, a ton of things that are going on right now is the end of year sale that happens right now, okay? That happens right now, 50% off select items for you to go take advantage of. Some of the items are going to be like, wait a minute, that's 50% off, it's 50% off, but it's only going to last 4 minutes, not going to last a long time. First come, first serve. So for some of you that are wanting to buy gifts, and some of you guys that are the type that are very, very overly prepared, like my wife, go buy this stuff for next year so you're ahead of the game. You'll save yourself 50%. Today is when the wise people spend money. Today is when the wise people go invest and save that 50% for next year. And anybody who places a purchase over $200 gets a $50 gift card. The first 50 that place the order over $200 get a $50 gift card today. So go to vtmerch.com and place your order. I love seeing people around the world sport the gear. Future looks bright. And everybody is starting to say, future looks bright. It's becoming a thing. We want 1 million people around the world to wear that. If you're somebody that's a fan of us and what we do and what we stand for, go out there and sport some of that future looks bright gear, hat, shirt, whatever it may be for yourself.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.